with with what some would argue is the top 10 list of the year, which is my Brendan Armstrong's top 10 list of the year. We'll start at number 10, which for me was Killer Instinct, a relatively new title made by Double Helix, who in my eyes have redeemed themselves from making quite possibly the worst Silent Hill game ever created. But it's just a fantastic fighter. They've taken a lot of strides from when they first announced it to where it is now. Listening to a lot of community feedback, especially from the fighting game community, and it's just really developed into this amazing fighter. The cast at the moment isn't amazing, but for a free game it offers so much, and for a pretty cheap price you can get all the characters, and it's just absolutely fantastic to play. Every punch feels like it does something, and all the combos are just super awesome. So number 9 for me was Rogue Legacy, a game I found out about pretty late in its development cycle, but as soon as I saw it and started playing it, I was instantly hooked. It's a roguelike, which the name suggests, except it's more of a 2D platformer than a top-down. It's really interesting with what they do with your lives. Instead of just coming back with all your previous upgrades and stuff like that, you actually develop your own castle, and with that you get more attack power or different abilities that you can be born with. And so you're always born with heirs, and these heirs will always have different abilities, but not always good ones. So some can have vertigo, and the whole game will be played upside down. Some will have dyslexia, so every NPC that talks to you will be in jumbled language because you can't really understand it. It's just a really interesting idea and a great time sink, and I had a lot of fun with it. So number 8 for me was Pikmin 3. This was originally what sold me on getting a Wii U day one, even though it ended up being delayed extensively, much to my disappointment. But from my experience of it, it was well worth the wait. It's just a lot of fun. I played right through it and I loved every minute of it. The DLC is a lot of good fun as well. It adds a lot of content, a little pricey for what it adds, but I still feel like it was worth it. But it's just fantastic on its own without the DLC as well. A great entry into the franchise, and it definitely just really highlights what the Wii U can do. So number 7 on the list is another Wii U title, which you will find is a bit of a theme throughout this. It was a remake of the original Legend of Zelda The Windwaker for the Wii U. This HD version looks absolutely fantastic. The water looks great, characters, everything looks absolutely amazing. The fact that it was cel-shaded on the GameCube means that they didn't really have to touch up too much stuff, because it really holds up on its own regardless of a HD remake. But everything that they've updated graphics-wise is absolutely fantastic. As well as that, they really fixed a lot of issues with the original game, and the game just runs so much smoother now. There's no more annoying tediousness with some of the quests and sailing around, and it's just an absolutely enjoyable game to play. Like, I played right through it, and I was smiling the whole time. It was absolutely fantastic. So number 6 was Dust and Elysian Tail. Now this game came out in 2012 on console, but came out in 2013 on Steam, which is where I first heard and picked up about. And I loved it. I loved playing right through it. It's probably the first sort of beat-em-up RPG style game that I've really gotten into over the years. And it's just like a fantastic world. It's only made by one guy. The one guy did the art and the programming. The only thing that's been outsourced has been the sound and the voice acting. And the voice acting is probably the weakest part of the game. But the graphics are fantastic. Gameplay is absolutely brilliant. Like, it's so much fun to play. Just beating around monsters for ages is fantastic, and you really can't go wrong. If you're put off by sort of humanoid animals in your worlds, then you might not like it. If you're a bit afraid of that furry stuff, even though it's nothing like that. But if you're not bothered by that, then definitely pick it up. Number 5 is The Wonderful 101. This game is quite possibly the best Wii U title I've played. This was made by Platinum Games, who I'm almost convinced cannot make a bad game. it was just absolutely fantastic. Like, it does start off a little slow, not boring but slow, but once you hit the end of mission 3, the start of mission 4, the game just picks up exponentially, and the ending is just one of the best endings to a game I've ever experienced, and I can't recommend it enough. If you have a Wii U, definitely get it. If you don't have a Wii U, get a Wii U and get it, because it is a game that you won't soon forget. Okay, so number 4 is another game that came out last year on Xbox Live, but came out this year on Steam, which is Skullgirls. This is quite possibly one of the best fighting games I've played in recent years. Killer Instinct is more of a serious fighter, whereas Skullgirls takes more of that Marvel vs. Capcom style of fighting. But even then, the art style is fantastic. The aesthetic of the game is brilliant. It reminds me very much of those olden style cartoons. And it's just a joy to play. It feels great fighting wise. The combat system is just perfect for it. Like, none of the characters feel unbalanced. It's awesome. If you like fighting games, you definitely need to play this. And even if you don't, it's great just to play through the story mode, because I feel like that's a real strength of the game. So number 3 for me was Pokemon X. My favourite Pokemon of all time used to be Pokemon Red and Blue, and no Pokemon game since then has really filled me with that sense of awe and wonder that the original did. But going into this, I had absolutely no idea about some of the Pokemon, and I felt like that 5-year-old again, just playing Pokemon for the first time, just going through every area, finding new Pokemon that I'd never even heard about, and just having fun. Like, it was just pure and simple fun. It's not too hard of an RPG to get into because it's Pokemon, and while it is a little childish of sorts, it's just an absolutely fantastic game. And if you've liked any Pokemon game before, you will absolutely love this one. Number 2 is the game that I thought would be my game of the year up until about 3 weeks ago, and this is Fire Emblem Awakening. This is one of the best games I've played in recent years. I loved it to death. I played it right through, and I'm currently on a second playthrough through it, which is very rare for me because I will rarely play through a game twice. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I love the tactical sort of turn-based grid combat, very much like Final Fantasy Tactics, which is another one of my favourite games. And it's just great. Like, the interactions between the characters, the story, the cutscenes are in great detail and they look great, and the character models in the game look fantastic. The 3D enhances the gameplay, not so much the gameplay, but it does enhance the aesthetics when you're watching the combat happen. And it's just absolutely brilliant. The hard mode is actually hard, which is one of the reasons I love it so much. And permadeath, you really can't go wrong with this game. It's fantastic. If you have a 3DS, you need to have this game. It's quite possibly the best game on the 3DS right now. So we've reached number 1 of my list. This game was released in 2012 in America, but 2013 here in Australia, because we're a backwater country and we don't deserve games at the same time as the rest of the world. And that was actually Persona 4 Golden. For the Vita, a remake of the original Persona 4 for the PS2. It adds plenty of additional content. I never played the original Persona, but from what I've researched, there's plenty that's been added to the game. The graphics have been enhanced for the Vita, and it really holds up. It's the best RPG I've ever played. The soundtrack is absolutely phenomenal. You will remember every single one of those songs once you finish the game. I ended up racking up about 91 hours into it, and I don't regret a single minute of that. Everything from the character interactions to the dungeons is just absolutely fantastic. You really can't go wrong with this. If you have a Vita, you need to play this game.